We're here today with Rachel Yankey, one of the most decorated women's players in English football, okay? Making history as the first woman to become a professional footballer in England. Did anybody know that? No. Okay. Achieving 129 caps for England and played for Arsenal ladies over 15 seasons in 2 spells, okay? She's winning over 25 trophies throughout her career. That's big, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Right, Rachel. You've won over 25 trophies throughout your career. Which one is the most meaningful and why?
Oh, start off easy. Gosh, that's really hard to answer, to be honest. I think winning different trophies had different sort of meanings, so I'm not sure I could choose just one. I mean, probably an easier answer is the best season we had, and that was with Arsenal in 2007, where we won the quadruple, which no other team in Britain, men's or women's, has ever done. So we won the league, the FA Cup, the League Cup, and what is now known as the Champions League. And we went undefeated. No one beat us. Pretty good, huh?
Amazing. So, you were the first woman to become a professional footballer in England. What was that like?
Yeah, quite strange, to be honest. I mean, I think what was funny, because I was playing for Arsenal, who were in the top league, but they weren't professional. Everybody thought that they were professional because were outside of football because of Arsenal as the name. It's a huge club. But we only trained twice a week. We trained on a Tuesday and a Thursday. What days do you guys train? How many? So two or 3 times. You probably do more than what I did. But we were winning leagues and we were doing really well. But then Fulham Football Club decided they'd seen the league was going to go professional. It was meant to. And they also, their chairman saw the World Cup in America in the 99 World Cup, which was huge. You get so many crowds. And he said, I want to make a women's team so that we can compete when the actual league goes professional. So he made the first professional women's team, which was Fulham. So, but they were 2 leagues below Arsenal. So although I became the first professional, I dropped down 2 leagues to do it. And everybody called me crazy, but sometimes you got to follow your heart and follow your dream. And I had the opportunity to become a professional footballer. So I got to train every day. I got to be educated on the right foods to eat, how much sleep you need so your body can recover, and how much rest you need to have, how important like drinking water and other fluids to make sure that you're rehydrated so you can move faster. So I got educated on all these things that I didn't really know about because I was only training 2 times a week. So that's the reason for me that I turned professional, and I was so excited to go to Fulham. But it was very new because none of us had trained every single day, and it was a lot for your body to be able to handle, training every day. But it was a fantastic time.
Amazing. Next question. Have you ever had moments when people doubted you, and how did you overcome this?
Yes, I think, in life, whatever you do, you're going to have ups and downs. In football, you definitely will have ups and downs. As I'm sure you would have seen today, not everybody can win the game. Starts off 0-0. If it ends 0-0, maybe it was a great game, but nobody scored. And usually people like goals, right? I'm a striker. I'm an attacker. I like goals. So somebody's got to make a mistake, or teammates have got to make mistakes. Okay, so you're going to have ups and downs. You're going to win some games. You're going to lose some games, and that's just part of it. You've got to dust yourself off and carry on playing. And I think a hard thing for me was in 2009. I was playing for England, but I missed out on the Euros. I got dropped from the team. Of course, it's the manager's decision who they pick, and I was one of the unlucky ones that didn't make it to the Euros finals. So that was a real hard point, and a point where lots of people doubted me and said that I'd never play for England again. I was on probably about, 90 caps or something like that. Caps are when the appearances you make and you get a cap from. So I was on about 90 appearances, People said, you'll never play for England again. That's it. She's finished. I finished off at 129, so I win. So, but yeah, you just got to follow your dreams. Whatever people say about you, it doesn't mean that it has to happen like that. You can write your story, yeah?
Amazing. Did you have a goal of any sort for caps? Was it 100? Was it 50? Was it?
No.
You got your first one?
Yeah, not at all. I think I was a young girl that loved playing football, given the opportunity to play for England. When I was growing up, I didn't even know that there was an England team. I never saw, it wasn't visible, women playing football. So I never saw an England team playing on TV. My favourite team was Arsenal. I'm an Arsenal fan, but I never saw an Arsenal women's team. I didn't know anything about it until I got into a girls' team like you guys are playing now. And then we played against Arsenal. And then we played, and then I joined Arsenal. And then when I joined Arsenal in my my first season, I got scouted. So someone watched me and said, oh, she's not bad, she's quite good. And then picked me to play for England. So that's how I knew that there was then an England team. And that's how everything was, it wasn't as visual as what it is today. So it was a little bit of a discovery. So playing for England was fantastic. But not something that I dreamt about when I was young. I just knew that I loved playing football. I started off playing with my two friends that lived across the road, and we just carried on playing there, and it was just fun. And I think the whole way through my career, I played because I still found it fun. So it's important, whether you win or lose, make sure that you come off the pitch with a smile, or the next day after crying if it's a loss, have a smile and carry on playing. Yeah, because that's the best thing about it.
So was that really hard for you did you have a role model to look up to? Obviously in the women's game, was it hard?
In the women's game, I didn't have a role model. I couldn't have named you any female players. But in the men's game, my role model was Ian Wright. He was my favourite player. Like I said, I was an Arsenal fan. So watching Ian Wright, I felt like I could really relate to him. It was like watching how we were all playing in the school playground, in the cages when we were playing, and one moment you're really sad and next moment you're happy when you score a goal, and you go through all these different emotions. That's what it was like for me watching Ian Wright, but he was doing it on the biggest stage of all. So I just wanted to be him. I ran around, tried to score goals like him. Most of the time I failed, but I watched him and I just totally enjoyed it.
Yeah. What does being a team player mean to you?
Ooh, good question. I think that means somebody that is supporting your team, somebody that's helping the others. We win and we lose together. There is no, I scored this or I did that. It's as we all contribute to the team. And I think when I look at teams and team players, it's all about actually those unselfish movements. I was a winger, so for lots of times I had to make runs going forward to create space for other people to get on the ball. And I think that to me is what team players should be doing. Doing things for others, doing things for the best of the team, and making sure that, if you've got a team with a good balance, because you're all different, and that's the beauty of the team, is if you could all score 20 goals, that's great, but if you had no defenders, you're going to let in a lot. So you need the goalkeeper, you need defenders, you need people that can do different jobs to make you a fantastic team.
Definitely. Has anybody got any examples of being an unselfish player today? Running in front of goal, you've got two players with a keeper. Go for it.
In our match against the Blues over there, our goalkeeper deflected it and she died for it. We missed the ball, they attacked it, and then me and the other defender blocked the goal so we couldn't score.
Okay, that's great.
Great stuff.
You were England women's most capped player for a while, with 129 caps, as we know. How did you stay motivated?
Again, just enjoyment, just love the game. I didn't really look at the caps for the majority of my career. I think I only knew that I was on about 90 when I obviously got dropped and people started telling me. It wasn't something that I was sort of seeking or had a goal to try and get a certain number. That wasn't wasn't my interest. I just enjoyed playing. Every time I came off the pitch, I wanted to play the next game and the next game, and just train hard and worked hard to for that to happen. But it was nice, obviously, to play that many games. To reach 100 caps was fantastic, and that was a landmark. And then to go past Gillian Coulthard, who had 119. She was the record holder for women's game for a long time. To beat her record was fantastic. And only then I realised, when she, I think, made her 119th cap, was actually my debut. So it was quite a weird scenario that sort of crossed paths. So, but no, I didn't have goals like that. So just happy to play.
Who was your first game against for England?
Scotland. Yes.
Was that in a competition, or was it a friendly? Or
Good question. I think it was a friendly. Against Scotland up in Livingston, and I scored on my debut. I played at that point. I was playing as a centre forward. So as well, what you will learn now, you might think, I play in whatever position, but actually I was a centre forward for the majority of the beginning of my career. But then I turned into a left winger, still a forward. But I think for me personally, it was probably better because I enjoyed scoring goals, but I don't think I was the best goal scorer in the team. And I think I was probably too unselfish because I was quite happy for my teammates to score. I wasn't really ruthless enough to be a out-and-out centre forward that just wanted goals, goals, goals. I wanted everybody to try and score, and I think playing on the wing actually probably suited me better. But I only discovered that towards, halfway through my career. So wherever you're playing now, don't have it as a fixed position. Play everywhere. So if your coach says, I want you to try out playing centre-back or try out playing midfield or up front, try them, because you never know. You might find that you're fantastic at one.
do you think that's important for the girls to realise that playing different positions? So if you play in striker, you play defence, you know what a striker wants, what a defender wants, defensive, attacking. Is that important for the girls to understand?
Yeah, 100%. I think you learn about the game if you've played in that position, and once you've experienced it, you can understand. You can understand what happens from that position. If you're because I was a centre forward, as a winger, I knew where I wanted to cross the ball because I knew where I would want it as a centre forward. So I think if you play in different positions, you kind of find that out.
And touched on this briefly, but what advice would you give to the girls in terms of just playing to improve, to make it pro, any kind of on their journey in football?
I think just play for the enjoyment. Whatever will be, will be. You try your best, and whatever your best is. And for all of us, we have different loves for playing the game. Just enjoy playing, and I think that's the most important thing, is that you don't want to keep training really hard, but be miserable about it. What's the point in that? You got to enjoy what you're doing.
100%. What was your favourite goal you've ever scored?
Ooh, tough. That's tough. Not that I've scored loads of goals. I'm just trying to think. I think for Arsenal in the League Cup final, I scored a volley against Birmingham, and
I've seen that goal, by the way.
Have you seen it? Yeah.
Very good.
It was a good one. Thank you. Yeah, that was probably, and I'll tell you, because there's emotions that go through it. So the pass into me from my teammate, if we step back a few stages, she passed me a ball and she smashed it at me. And I was like, why would you pass like that? So I was a little bit frustrated because I didn't think it was a good pass. And then she passed me the next ball and it bobbled up in front of me, which made it really difficult to control. But actually, I wouldn't have scored the goal that I scored if it hadn't have done that. Because it bobbled up, it made me control it. I controlled it here and it lifted it, and I turned, swiveled and shot, and it went top corner. So I was angry at her bad pass, but actually her bad pass made the goal. So it worked out well in the end.
So for the girls, what would you say is important for them to train on? Is it getting comfortable on both feet? Is it scanning your left, right, and shoulder? What would you kind of suggest to work on, kind of all-round game?
As being a very one-footed, left-footed player, yes, playing with both feet is very important, but I would say there's you can kind of get away with it because I did. So I think movement, finding space, scanning your shoulders, making sure that you can find space. If you can find space on the pitch, it will give you time. If you make an error, it gives you time to recover from that error. If you can find space, it allows you to speed up and slow down the pace of the game and control the game. So being able, I think that's the biggest thing, being able to scan, find space, and create your own movement to be able to do that is something that I would, if I was to do it all again, that's what I'd maybe concentrate on.
Can somebody name a player that's super good at scanning their shoulders? Who's looking every single on the pitch like this? Any players you can think of? Iniesta, Lampard, anybody? Russo, Salah, Palmer. Anybody else? There we go. Arsenal
Kim Little. Kim Little. Watch Kim Little. Midfielder for Arsenal. She's excellent at it. Yeah, she's very good.
Perfect. Can you tell us about launching the Rachel Yankey Foundation, which is making football more accessible to young girls?
Yeah. We launched. Was it a week ago? Two weeks ago? Yes, it wasn't that long ago. We launched the foundation, which is to give more access to young girls, because obviously through my experience of playing, there were barriers when I was younger, but then through playing and seeing how the game has developed, but I still feel those barriers to some young girls when they're playing. So it's based in creating inner city hubs, so local hubs, so that people don't have to travel miles and miles to go to their nearest training centre. And it's just about encouraging people to explore their passion for football. It isn't about excellence, it's about the love of the game and allowing girls that feel maybe that they're not able to express the love of the game through whatever reason. It's about giving them a safe space to play. So that's what we try to create, little hubs that are in a city. We're working in Brent and Westminster at the moment, and that's because that's where I grew up. I grew up in Brent and played football in Westminster. So.
Amazing. And football's not just about training and getting better, is it? It's about much more.
Yeah. And that's what we want to teach. I think some of the biggest things that I've learned have just been, yes, they've been on the pitch, but they've allowed me to do things off of the pitch that are not related to football. Life skills, I think, not everyone's going to be a footballer, and we might have dreams to do that, but reality is we're not all going to be a footballer and have contracts and fantastic, all the riches that may bring you. But what you can still have is that love of the game, and you can learn from the game. And in the game, it will teach you that you have to think quickly, you have to work in a team, you have to be very flexible and make decisions and become leaders, whatever position you are. And I think that whatever you do, girls, later on in life, that will really help you when you start to go to college or go to even secondary school or work. So that's what I learned through football, is that those key skills actually taught me a lot.
And is it right saying that you started football in a boys' team?
Yeah.
So can you talk on maybe the benefits or maybe the pros and cons of playing there? Do you get better because you're playing with boys, so you might get better in a certain aspect of your game?
I think at that time, when I was growing up, I think I was about 8 years old, there weren't really any boys' teams in the area that I lived in. So there definitely wasn't any girls' teams. It was very hard to find a team to play for, and I just felt joining the boys' team, again, I was with my two friends. I pretended to be a boy, so they all thought that I was a boy, so I wasn't treated any differently. I was expected to do, I don't know if we got something wrong, doing press-ups or doing star jumps. We were training hard. No one gave me an easier time. Again, talking about playing quickly, thinking quickly, having to move to make sure you receive the ball and play the game. So all that was done and was really fun. But I think pros and cons, I'm sure there were many, to be honest. But the biggest thing for me was, And that's probably why we started the foundation, is that we want to give people opportunity. I was very lucky in that the manager of the team, he wasn't a football coach, he was a paint and decorator. But he knew that I was a girl, but he gave me the opportunity to play, and he just was like, it's okay. And I think there's many girls out there that don't get the opportunity, so yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Was that just the under age group, or did you go up until 11s, 12s, etc.?
No, I moved on to a girls' team. So basically, I was told that I wasn't able to play. I wasn't meant to be playing for the boys' team, and that it just at the league that I was playing in, but on a different night, there was a girls' league, but just no one knew about it. Like the teams didn't obviously talk about it to each other. So again, it was my manager. He said, it's unfair that one of my players is not able to play. Where do I send her? And then Mill Hill United put up their hand and said, we have a girls' team, and that's where I went. So that's how I started in women's football.
Amazing. Are you an Arsenal fan?
I am an Arsenal fan.
So it was a dream
yes.
come true when you signed for Arsenal?
Yeah, it was. But I mean, to be honest, I didn't even know that Arsenal had a team when I was like 8, 10. I think first understanding was playing for Mill Hill United and playing against Arsenal, and then being like, wow. But yeah, I think when you get the opportunity to play for Arsenal, one of the best things back then was our manager was the kit man to the men's team. So he had a lot of influence over what our training was, obviously watching how the men's team did it, brought a lot of ideas from the men's teams into the women's team. And that, I think, made us a lot better. But also, he used to fill up a black bag full of kit. And as an Arsenal fan, you'd get given a big black bag full of kit. And I was like, yes. It was like Christmas.
Who would be super happy to get a big bag of Arsenal kit right now? Yeah, me too. Me too. Okay, so we're going to a bit of talking about Euros, just briefly. So who's going to be watching the Euros? Everyone's hand should be up, really, by the way. Okay. Does anybody know when it is? What month, let's say? Winner. Okay, cool. So what players are you most excited to watch at the Euros this year?
Ooh, gosh, that's hard. Do you know what? I think Alessia Russo's had a fantastic season. I hope that continues. If she can get into a good rhythm of scoring goals, then England have got a fantastic chance. Obviously, from the England team, as a left winger, I really like Lauren Hemp. I've always liked the way that she's played. So I know she's just coming back from injury and getting herself fit, but I think, it could be the perfect tournament for her. It's usually go into the tournament maybe a little bit fatigued from the season. She should be fresh. So, yeah, look for big things from her. Yeah.
Has anybody else got any exciting players that they're looking forward to watch at Euros? Yeah, Williamson. Anybody else? Is your hand half up, or are you just twisting it? Okay. Anybody else? Come on. Name us some England players. Give me one more. I know you've got more. No? Anybody else? Parents? Kitlocker staff? Lauren James?
Ooh, Lauren James, very good.
Beth Mead, there we go. Chloe Kelly, yeah.
Yes, very good. Let me tell you a story about Lauren James. So Lauren James was 14 when she came from the youth team at Arsenal and came into our training, first team training. And the first time she trained, it was like, she was very shy. She wouldn't talk to anybody. She was like head down. And she walked in and she got the ball and she dribbled and scored, and everyone went, okay. So we all knew from when she was 14, she's going to be a player. She was fantastic.
Yeah. So is that quite easy to see then? Once you see a player, you can kind of tell, right? She's going to be a right player. She's going to go pro, or is it kind of you've got late bloomers, and you've got kind of.
I think there's a mixture.
Yeah.
But with Lauren, definitely you could always see that she had the potential. It was like it was about. How would you manage her? How do you make sure that you can get a player that is so gifted to produce, like that all the time? Similar to, I think it was you that said Chloe Kelly. Chloe Kelly was the same. Again, a young player coming through at Arsenal, came into the first team. she was a little bit like, probably the older people in the room will remember when Ronaldo first started at Man United, and it was just all tricks, and everyone was like, okay, we get it, you're good at these tricks, but come on. So it was for us older players to make sure Chloe understood trick 1's great, trick 2's great, trick 3, trick 4, come on now. We need to produce. But now, you know, you look at her and how she's moved through her career, and outstanding player for England. So again, always knew that, you know, she was a fantastic talent, just needed a little bit of time to sort of produce.
Yeah, definitely. If you were in the dressing room before a big knockout game, say for the Euros, what message would you give to the current Lionesses?
Gosh, that's hard.
Yeah.
Do you know what? You just have to be brave. Just enjoy. Again, you know, you only get. It's very rare that you get opportunities to play in finals, and you know, you've got to make sure that moment counts. So just take the moment really, and just enjoy and just make sure that there's no regrets at the end of it, but you just perform on that day. If every single one of you performs, then you've got a chance to win it.
No, definitely. What's your take on how far the women's game has come in terms of media coverage and also fan support, major tournaments, WSL?
Oh, it's huge. You know, I remember when, so the biggest game in our footballing calendar used to be the FA Cup, because that was the only game that was ever televised. So I remember after an FA Cup final once, a man just walking around the street, I was walking the dog, and he stopped me and he said, how come, he said he was praising me, like, we watched the FA Cup final, it was brilliant, you won, fantastic. And he said, but just one question, why do you only play one game a year? And I did that. I started laughing, but he was just deadpan. He was straight-faced, and I was like, "Are you serious?" And he said, "Yeah, I don't get it. Why do you only play one game?" And I was like, "No, we don't. We have a league, and there's obviously rounds that you have to win." But he was like, "But why do we never see it?" And I guess that's the change in women's football, is that we used to have one game to show everybody that we could play, and you know how great the game was. Now there's so many games. Obviously, the WSL is televised. The FA Cup's obviously televised, playing it at Wembley. The Euros will be televised, which you all will watch, won't you? Yeah. So yeah. I think that's the biggest thing, is that companies, businesses have seen the visibility, are investing in the game, and can see the potential, so that the next generation, you guys coming through, you're gonna be even better than this generation, because you would have had more training, more facilities, more education, and you'll be even better. So you can produce more fun stuff for us to sit and watch.
And I believe Arsenal women's have now playing at the Emirates from now on. So how big is that?
Again, huge. You know, playing at the main stadium. I think for definitely the women's team, when I played, that felt like a place which was, not sure if we should play there. It didn't feel like home. Didn't feel like our fortress and our home ground. Definitely for this team of now, they definitely feel like it's their fortress. It's the place where, you know, it's not a scary place. It's not the men's ground. It's the main stadium for the club, and they feel part of that. So, which obviously bodes well for their performance on the pitch. But the amount of fans that you can generate, even when there's people that say, oh, you know, there's only 20 or 30,000, that's huge. Because, you know, it just doesn't look huge because it's in a 60,000 stadium. But when they sell out, and the games were like against Tottenham and Man United, and it's huge, 60,000, everything like that, it's incredible. So the atmosphere that brings for a player to play in that it's just so much fun. You think your parents cheering you on. Imagine that, 60,000 people. That would be cool.
Definitely. Last question. Who's your footballer friends? Who would you say is that you've gained throughout your career, that you can still ring up now, you can go for a drink? Who would you say them players are?
Oh, gosh. Well, definitely Karen Carney. You know Karen Carney, yeah. She was She was my roommate so we played in the Olympics. She was my roommate, well, she was my friend before that, but we've always stayed really close mates. Laura Bassett, again, one of my roommates for a long, long time in the Euros. So she played for Arsenal, Chelsea, but she was probably best known for playing for Birmingham. She was their captain for a very, very long time. And let's give you 3. So Mary Phillip, England. She was the first black England captain. Again, a roommate of mine for many, many years at Arsenal and England. And I think when you have roommates, you share those highs and lows and you support each other. And I think those 3 I've probably stayed in the closest contact with.
Okay. Have we got any questions for Rachel? From anybody, girls, parents?
When did you first start playing football?
I was, I think, 8 when I played for the boys' team, and I joined the girls' team at 10.
Could you sign my hat?
Of course I can. Not a problem. I can do that. I'll do it after, but I can do it.
If you weren't at Arsenal, what team would you like to stay to?
Ooh, if I wasn't at Arsenal, what team? That's a good one. I mean, it would be pretty cool to play for Barcelona. I think I'd like to play for Barcelona if they'd have me.
Was there a hand over here? Yep.
Am I still good? I'm not as good. I can play a little bit. You're challenging me there. I feel a little afraid. Are you a centre back? No. I feel like you're going to tackle me.
If you had to play for any other team other than Arsenal, who would it be?
Watford. Is that a good one? Was that a good one? Do you like that?
If you had to make like a best 5-a-side team, all the people you played with, who would it be?
Oh, wow, that's incredibly difficult. Wow, that's hard. I'd say some of these you may not know because I'm going back a very long time, but Pauline Cope, who used to play for England, very big goalkeeper, very intimidating, unbelievable shot stopper. So I'd put her in goal. In defence, I'd put Mary Phillip, very good player, because she was quick as well. She read the game and she was quick. In midfield, I'd have to go Farrell Williams. Farrell Williams, good, both-footed, could ping a ball. Then I'd go Kelly Smith. Have I gone too many players? Have I gone
You got one more.
Okay, Kelly Smith and Alessia Russo. Is that all right? That was very hard. If someone asked me that again, I'd probably change it just to mix it up. But yeah, that's my team.
Yeah, at the back.
If you weren't a winger, what position would you be?
If I wasn't a winger, anywhere attacking, I realised throughout my career, defending wasn't the best skill that I had. I tried, just wasn't that good.
Yep, over there.
Do you prefer Ronaldo or Messi?
Oh, this question always comes up. It's like the hardest question in the world. Because they're both phenomenal. They're both incredible, but I'm going to hurt everyone in the room at Messi. Is that a good one? Oh, I feel like you're disappointed with me there. I'm sorry. I'm Team Messi all day.
Parents, anything? Any questions? No? At the back.
Just that they're all really influential in their years right now where they are. What piece of inspiration could you leave with them today?
Gosh, again, I just go back to enjoying the game and really just. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes. If you make a mistake, that's what the game's built on. It's about what you do next. You make that mistake, you lose the ball. Okay, so what? What's next? You've got an opportunity to win it back. Yeah, you've got an opportunity to do something else. So support each other. Don't worry about mistakes. Enjoy the good times. celebrate goals and winning, but also make sure that when you finish a game, you shake your opponent's hand and you make sure that you say well done and well played to them. Be very respectful. But just keep enjoying the game, because that's the main thing that when I was really down at sometimes and I thought and questioned, why am I still playing? What are we doing? I went back to the 8-year-old kid that started playing and the reasons why I started playing. It wasn't for money or people watching me or fame or anything like that. It was just because I enjoyed playing the game of football. So that's what I'd say. I don't know if that's helpful.
There was one more over there somewhere. There you go.
Hi there, Rachel. This has been fascinating. Thank you. Just have you got any advice for grassroots clubs trying to get more females into the coaching side?
Yeah, so hard, and that's part of the thing that we're doing with the foundation as well, is trying to encourage coaches to come in, because it's also a safe space. Again, making mistakes and trying new things, because we're not a team. We're all about developing the player and developing the person and just helping them with opportunities. So sometimes coaches need to feel comfortable, and that's what we want to just try and create that environment. But there are organisations out there that have female coaches, and maybe we've worked a lot with UCFB. So maybe for local colleges or people that are interested in sports, to go to them and just offer opportunities for their coaches to come down and support with your players. But I think it's always really important to just make sure that you create a nice culture and environment that players, coaches all feel, safe in and able to show their true self and make mistakes and try new things, I suppose. That's all right.
Perfect. Last two questions, here and here. Go for it.
Who are your favourite football players in this season?
Who are my favourite
Football players in this season?
this season? Ooh, that's a good question. That is a good question. I've liked watching Maya Letizia, who plays centre-back for Manchester United. I've just signed her for Arsenal then. Made a mistake. I haven't. She plays centre-back for Manchester United. And also, I'll speak about Kim Little as well, because Kim Little's been one of my favourite players for Arsenal this season, because you guys won't know this at the moment, but as you start to get older, people think that you can't play anymore and that you're not able to do it. But Kim Little has just adapted her game. She's not the same player as the 16-year-old kid that came into the squad that I was in. She doesn't play in the same way. She's adapted how she plays, but she's still bossing the game. So I've really enjoyed watching her.
Perfect. Round of applause for Rachel. Thank you.